Hey, 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 party people. Once again, we are back with the Conversation 5. I am number 6. I am CH. And we are coming at you from the HighVibe Studio Media Group.
Hey, 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 party
And,
people. Once again,
and so we are coming at you.
I am CH. And we're coming at you from the HighVibe Studio Media Group.
So, once again, we're coming at you with the conversation.
I'm working.
And we are gonna be talking about the contribution of women.
The power of a woman.
Sounds like that to me. The power of a woman.
She just corrected you.
That's right. And I'll take it because I'm having a little technical difficulties. I can't see what I'm looking at, but that's quite all right.
Well, you don't have a choice because you're outnumbered tonight.
And you know what? I was afraid of that. I was afraid of that. So what we're gonna do is I'm gonna have to go over to my backup resource, which is my phone, because this Apple ain't cooperating. So look at here. We all know that this world wouldn't exist without a woman, and it wouldn't exist without a man either. But we ain't talking about us today. So we have with us once again the amazing, the talented, the always on to whatever needs to be on to. We have the amazing Maze with us. So, Miss Amazing Maze, what is going on? How has your week been, Miss Amazing Maze?
My weekend was wonderful. I actually completed my Les Brown speaking certification course.
All right, great.
Jesus.
All right.
And I'm just really excited about that. I just took some time to work on some goals, and just take care of the home. And that's really it. That was really it. That was a big accomplishment with me. I had set a goal. You guys know about transformation goals.
You got to.
And the goal was to finish the Les Brown courses by the end of this month. Well, I realized Saturday I was at my 5th. It was the last course, but it was in 14 sections or something.
Right.
And I had completed 5. I said, oh, well, let me just complete maybe 4 more. And I just kept going because the courses went by so fast. And before I knew it, I had 3 left. And I'm like, oh, I'm about to finish this. And I finished. Check out 2018.
Get it done.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah.
You rock.
Awesome.
All right, Amazing Maze.
You deserve a round of applause for
Yay.
that. Because,
thank you.
You know, we all know that it's tough. When you're a grown person and you're trying to go and get this higher level education, it's a lot. It takes a lot out of you, and you know, and you have to pull from something else to be able to do that. So whatever suffered from you doing that, now you can get back to that. Also, I want to go ahead and we're going to pass this thing over to Miss Lady G. You know, you're looking stunning once again as usual. You know, you always come in here looking just as stunning. And so, why don't you tell us what's happening with you, or what went on with you this week?
This weekend was so uneventful.
I like it.
That's a good thing.
So funny.
I have just really embraced this relaxing on the weekends. I mean, I did stuff around the house, but we didn't do too much. We didn't do too much. We made it out to service yesterday, and then came back and just chillaxed. So it was an uneventful weekend. Needed some much needed rest.
Yeah.
So yeah, 'cause we've been.
I think rest is on a premium nowadays.
It's what?
It's on a premium now.
Yes.
Yeah, because you know, there's so much stuff that takes away your energy, and
That's true.
You know, and sometimes we gotta really get more rest. I know my doctor told me I need to get more sleep because sleep for me is almost like a cuss word. So
I'm glad you said that because there was an article about Europe and how certain parts of Europe that people work for 4 days and they're off the 5th day. And they have a 3-day weekend, and they talked about productivity is much better than it is as Americans, that we work a lot and we do a lot of overtime. And Texas is one of the higher ranking states where people really work long hours when you look at the U.S. So I thought that was pretty interesting that in certain parts of Europe they only work 4 days a week, and the productivity is better.
When I was in Germany, I saw where they would actually close their stores in the early afternoon so that people could go home and take a nap.
Exactly.
And then come back and they would open back up in the evening.
Exactly.
Yeah, so that rest, getting that rest, is essential to life.
Wow.
For productivity.
Hey, and as you all know, you've heard her voice. But now it's time for the introduction from this.
It's like the first show, isn't it? It's the first show.
Dr. Brown. We are so glad to have you here with us once again, which you should be here because you are one of the 5. So why don't you tell us what has happened with you this week or this weekend? Talk to us.
Well, you know what? I'm gearing up, guys. I can feel it coming, sneaking up on me. It's about springtime, you know, things that happen. And Sade's going to come visit you again soon. You might have her every weekend. Look. We share a pooch, guys. We share a pooch. She and her husband, Joseph, they are Sade's godparents, so we share a pooch. But I had a great weekend. Last week I was able to be on an interview for another studio for the show called The Author's Lounge. And what they do is they interview authors, and they're broadcast around the world. And they have a series of authors, and we talk about our books. And so it was amazing. Dr. Linda Merbank and Cheryl Grace, they are the co-hosts of that show. It was a very eventful show, and we were there with another a best-selling author named Stephonia Roberts, and we were on together, and it really was an awesome time. And we do, I'm going to put this plug in for Beneath the Scar Rise to Healing. If you go to my Dr. Simone page, if you go to Facebook, you'll see an excerpt of that show. And if you go to certain numbers, you can hear an excerpt of the book. So I'm just putting that plug in. Any authors, you better put a plug in for your book. You guys make sure. Maze, when that book comes out, put plugs in. And so we talked about, and it was so inspirational because Stephonia Roberts has 7 books out, and she keeps cranking them out, and she's doing an awesome job. So they've only inspired me to go ahead and get those 3 off my desk and get them out. So I'm really excited about that. I'm so excited about, we're getting ready the month of April. I keep talking about P.K. Williams. Go to I Am P.K. Williams. He's one of my clients for Simone Publishing. And P.K. is about to release his book next month. His book release is coming. So I keep saying this every week, and he's invited so many people to come out. Pre-sales are going well. You can go to I Am P.K. Williams, his website, and get a copy of the book from a letter man to a better man. And he's one of the Carter High football team members who he was incarcerated as a teenager because, you know, they did a series of robberies. He tells his story, and he gives his apology in the book. It's a powerful book. It's awesome. So hopefully everyone can pick up their copy. He was highlighted in the movie called Carter High and also ESPN 3030. So we're looking forward to that being a dynamic thing that's coming up. And we got more to come. Stay tuned for Simone Publishing and another merger. We'll talk about that later.
Where can we find your book?
Oh, you can find my book on Barnes & Noble. You can find it on Amazon. And leave a review. One thing we talked about on the Author's Lounge is so many people, they may purchase the book, but they don't leave reviews. Reviews are what people are really looking at. So be sure you leave a review. And you can also find it at SimonePublishing.com. That's SAMONE Publishing.com. And one of the things I want to say, too, and on behalf of Women's History Month, I'm going to discount the book if you go to SimonePublishing.com. You can go to Amazon and get it. You go to Simone Publishing. So getting ready. I have a book signing coming up in half-price books. And I'm trying to debate whether or not to do a book signing in Atlanta, and I'll know that tomorrow. So just trying to do the pace.
Now, what kind of Atlanta we talking about? We talking about Atlanta, Texas, or Atlanta, Georgia? Which one we talking
Atlanta,
about?
GA.
Okay, you got to be specific when you're in Texas.
Atlanta, GA.
Okay, Atlanta, Georgia. Hear that, people? Not Atlanta, Texas. So don't be rolling down to Atlanta, Texas, looking for Dr. Simone Brown. She ain't gonna be there. All right.
So that's it. But I'm, you know what? I feel rested. I'm glad you said that, Miss Lady G, because rest is vital, and we have to have times of rest. So you can't go full speed. You know, I just remember the time. This is one of the things that comes back to us being women. I remember the time when the book came out in September. Oh, boy, I was doing everything from September to December. I didn't get a break. I almost crashed because it was so exciting. And not just that, just doing this. And every event that everybody invited me to, I wanted to go. And I learned that I can't do everything just because someone invited me. You have to decide what you go to and what you don't go to. And if you're going to empower people, or what is the reason, what's the purpose before you do it. So as you guys get ready to do those things, I know your book is coming out, Lady G's, and I know Maze has one on her desk, so keep those things in mind.
You know what's really interesting? I was talking to my coach, and I was making out my goals for 2018 and just a couple of things I wanted to do. I had realized I had written 3 books within 9 months.
Yeah, you do.
A regular book, a children's book, and a workbook, especially the one that I did for the Ready, Set, Go event. And I'm just kind of revising that and put some more stuff in there. And I didn't realize I did all that quick.
You can do it. There's so many things you can do daily. People don't realize how quickly or how you can get a book written when something's birthed inside of you and it comes out. It can be done. It can be done. So just do it, Lady G.
Yeah.
Oh, I keep looking at Lady G. I know Maze has it down.
Yeah.
I'm looking at Lady G.
Yeah.
Just go ahead and do it.
Okay.
And Lotus too. And CH over there too.
CH got a book in him somewhere. I got to figure out how to get it out. You know, for me, I did the same thing. I took an opportunity to rest this weekend. I work every Sunday, but Saturday has really turned to a day where I focus on trying not to burn myself out, making it a regular work day for me. I used to do that. I used to run here and run there and do this, do that, and you know, and hey, is there a profit under here? Yeah, let me go over here and do this. I realized that I took so many naps Saturday.
Wow.
And that's not really what I do.
Exactly.
You know, it's almost a miracle for me to get a nap in, because I'd be like, okay, I must be missing out on something, or either I need to do this or do that. I really took time to rest this weekend, so I didn't do much. I spent time trying to teach my little baby how to ride a bike, and, you know, get my older baby to go ride a bike. And so, you know, I did a little bit of that, but I did not do very much, and I'm glad. I feel good about it. I tried to focus, the most work I tried to focus on this week was getting some naps in.
Exactly.
And I feel refreshed. When I went to work Sunday, I felt refreshed. I didn't fall asleep while I was at work like I usually do on camera. You know, I know Dr. Evans, you know, I've learned to be able to operate him with my eyes closed.
Oh.
You know, those are trade secrets I can't let everybody know. But you know, once again, we are here. Don't forget, people, you know, you got something to say, go ahead and call in to the number. The number is 972-882-6146. Call in and join in the conversation. We're going to talk about the power of women. Now, I hope I said that right. Okay. Now, I'm going to start off with you.
Okay.
He likes picking on you.
I'm going to start off with you because you know what? I feel a sense of power from all of you ladies. And I just want to let you know it is I feel empowered being in here. You know what I'm saying? So, I mean, I'm not a woman, but I feel y'all's power. And I want to, because it exudes. It's almost like a regal quality that comes from a woman that is confident in herself, confident in what she's doing, confident in what she says. You know, it's refreshing. So, talk to us, Miss Amazing. Talk to us about the inspiration or the power of a woman from your perspective, whether it's your influence that came from your mom or grandmother or just a coach or somebody, whoever. Talk to us about that.
The power of women. I can say a lot about the magic, the phenomenal magic of women.
Of course.
All the things that we're able to do.
I'm outnumbered, y'all.
Multitask. Are able to not only be independent, take care of ourselves, but also take care of family, take care of husband, and also go out into the workforce and, you know, be part of that, the provider in a way, you know. We know the husband is the provider overall, but, you know, we do have women that actually go out there and at work and bring something, you know, home to make sure the family is okay. But not only that, but when I just think about the power, the magic, all the magic we have, all that we do, you know, the birthing of a creation of another little person, that's
See, that's why I get
amazing.
left out the conversation right there.
That's amazing. And then you have that. Then some of us, maybe the matriarchs of the family, when it comes to death or someone being sick, you always have usually that one relative that you have that makes sure everything is okay with the parents or whatever that relative, and she comforts everybody else and remaining strong at the same time.
Okay.
And it's just, I can go on and on and on, but I'm going to just leave it there. Okay. But it's just so many great things I just admire about any woman that have touched my life, whether you said something or did something. I'm always inspired. I know it's not take that and run with that, because that helps me be a better person when I see some great stuff in other women. Maybe not always want to, you don't want to be like anybody, but you admire them.
There's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm just going to leave it there. Lady G.
Let's work it on down. Let's work it on down.
Woman. Oh, goodness. When we think about the women that were before us, I often speak with my family, my cousins, about my grandmothers. Both of my grandmothers.
Got my answer.
My grandmas. And I've actually been able to see, and we miss their presence so much because we know what they brought to our lives. Their guidance, their instructions that they gave us. Me and my cousin, we talk about it, and we laugh. We laugh about it. Usually in the morning, we talk to each other while I'm driving to work. And, we have some good times just because they were such an impact in our lives. I know both of my grandmothers, they were stay-at-home mothers, and they took care of the family. They made sure that the household was ran, while our grandfathers went out and worked. And so much has changed since then. So much has changed. But we haven't forgotten, their role that they played in our lives. I spent a lot of time with my grandmother on my father's side. Yeah. But every summer I was with my grandma on my mother's side. So I didn't miss out on her. And my grandmother, both of their names one was Sugar Al. Her name was Annie Mae, but we called her Sugar Al. And the other was Elizabeth, and we called her Dot. But they were I consider them the glue that held the family together. Because a lot of times when that strong woman in the family, like I've really experienced it on my grandmother's, my grandma Dot's side of the family. When she passed, the family kind of broke away. She held us, she truly held us together. And to see, and we're still struggling even today, and she passed in 2002, and the struggle is still going on. We haven't had that one person within the family that has been able to get that solid foundation back, within our family. But their power, their strength, their love, oh my goodness, their unconditional love for all of us. It's always been an impact, and we'll never forget those memories, But we as a women as a whole, we just bring so much because we've been through so much, and it's made us stronger, and we've been able to grow in that and the experiences that we've been through. And then we try to teach those things to our own children as well, because a lot of the hurt and disappointments they're going to have to go. I know that it has to happen, but if they'll just listen to that guidance just every now and again, we try to, keep them from having to go through so much, because we've already been there and done that. And, that's just the beauty of being a woman, that's my take. And I'm going to move it on over. I'm moving this baton on over.
Don't tell me a baton, I might run out of here.
She used to run track now. I'm running out of here.
I might run out of here talking about baton. I tell you. But you know what? When you said that, you were reading my mind. Telepathy. You're all over here in my brain. And I too, the affinity that I have for my grandmothers, I had several, okay? But the first one that comes to mind, and I'll talk with my father's mom, and then I'll go to my mother's mother, and then my stepfather's mom. My father's mother, Almus Williams Griffin. Almus Williams Griffin, she passed away at the age of 92. She was a college-educated woman, Philander Smith College. In the 1930s, she received a degree. How many African-American women do you know have done that? And Almus Griffin was a one-room schoolhouse teacher. Okay? I'm just so elated that I was able to witness knowing my grandparents, knowing my great-grandparents, because it's made a difference in my life. With Grand God, we called her. And I always wonder, why do we call her Grand God? I don't know anybody who called their grandmother Grand God. And I kind of think, you know, we used to sit around and we would be at her house on the holidays, and especially Thanksgiving. She would do the prayers. We'd all hold hands, and she would pray so long. I'm quite sure we're thinking, Granny God, oh, because she prayed so long. We just open our eyes and look. It was like, oh, when is she going to finish? But now it means so much to me that she did.
Yeah.
The power of a praying woman. And she was the epitome of a praying woman. But she was one of those women, you know, she would say a few choice words on one hand, and then she'll pray on the next. I think that's where I got that from time to time. But really instilling in the family that we have to work and we have to take care of our family. She believed in the sanctity of the family. I know that's where I got that from. Along with my other grandmother, on my mother's side, the situation is a little bit different. Did not finish high school, just went to school until she married my grandfather at the age of 15. And being in a situation with my grandfather, he was a man of wealth, and she was this pretty young thing, you know, and just an intelligent woman, but she never had the formal schooling. And what ended up happening with her is when she and my grandfather divorced. I think it was the early 60s, late 50s. I don't know. I was a little girl. And she raised me. She would have been 90 years old.
Wow.
This year, her birthday was last week, and she passed away in 2015. And she raised me. But the great thing about that grandmother, the power of prayer as well. She was a praying woman. I remember her taking me to the schools. She would, after she and my grandfather divorced, you know, going from nice furs, nice cars, to just doing what you need to do to make sure you took care of your family. She resorted to cleaning houses, doing domestic work in the daytime. And at nighttime, she would clean the floor of the cafeteria. And as a principal, that's one of the things that I have a pet peeve about. I don't like dirty floors. And I say to myself, if my grandmother can take a mop and mop this floor, surely you can do it with a machine. But one of the things she used to do, she would sit me at the table, and I would do my homework at school while she mopped. And when she mopped that floor, it would be beautiful, and she would sing hymns. You know how the old hymns, how they would hymn. And then she would say, whatever you do it for the glory of God, and do it to the best of your ability. And so I think with her, that same thing, she didn't have the things economically, but when she passed away, that lady had a lot of money, okay? But she had the spiritual piece, and she was very intelligent, but she didn't have the opportunity to get that education. And then I have Big Mama, who is my stepfather's mom, and she was the one that everyone loved because Big Mama could burn in the kitchen. And she was one of those women, just like my other two, who held the family together. Everybody loved to go to Big Mama's house. And it's just the epitome of what you think about Big Mama, that's how she looked too. And so all those three women shaped me in different ways, but I know as their daughter, their granddaughter, that it's made me a better woman to do what I need to do to take care of my family, you know, to take care of my extended family, to make sure I honor my mother, to make sure my father was alive, that I honored my father, to make sure that I honor my stepfather. So those are the things that they did instilled in me. So those are my top picks for today, my grandmothers.
Beautiful, beautiful. Well, I, on the other hand, can't say that. Born and raised in Chicago, I was around my mother's mother. And I remember her as a big mom, pretty much. She cooked. But I don't remember very many conversations with her or, are you ready to eat? Other than that, I don't remember much of anything.
Oh, wow.
The only thing I can say that I really learned from her is how to barbecue.
Wow.
She taught me her recipe, how to barbecue some ribs, because I think that was probably the only conversation we had would be around either while she's cooking, while I'm asking her questions, because she didn't really engage much. But it's like you had to engage her. If you wanted anything out of her, you had to pretty much ask her. And I ask questions of everybody. I think I'm the most inquisitive person in my family. So with my mother's mom, we spent a lot of time over her house, but just not a lot of time with her. She had her favorites out of my cousins. Those are the ones she spent time with. All the rest of us rugrats were too busy fighting and entertaining each other. So we didn't really. I didn't get much from her other than just being there, eating, playing with my other cousins, because that was the drop-off spot. You know what I'm saying? So that's really. I think that's what happened. There was really no one-on-one interaction. I can't recall. And if I can't recall it, it must not have happened. You know what I'm saying? Because those kind of things should have a lasting impact on you. And I just can't get any or can't think of anything. My dad's mom, I don't never spent any time with her. I didn't grow up with her because she was here in Texas. I didn't get here in Texas till I was 15. And at that point, I really wasn't at an age or at a point where I really needed to be around her. That was just my daddy's mama. You know what I mean? So, and I didn't get anything from her. that I know of.
Can I ask you a question? Did you have older cousins with your grandmother in Chicago? Were they older than you? Were you younger? About how old were you?
No, with my grandmother, about between the ages of 7 and I left Chicago at 15.
Gotcha.
So, but no, didn't have any. I didn't have any older cousins. I think the strongest impact that I might have gotten might have been from a couple of my aunts. I know one of my aunts, my Aunt Barbara. I would say she is the sole person responsible for making sure I didn't drink or smoke or do drugs, because she did all those things. But the thing was, it's like she was doing it, and I'd be looking at her, and she would look at me, and she'd say, "I bet not ever catch you drinking, smoking." And my Aunt Barbara was a physical woman. You know, she like throw these things on you, and you know, she didn't use a belt. She'd hit you with these fists. So, you know, she really scared me into my thing was, no, I ain't doing none of that stuff. And so, and even as I grew up, man, I just had no interest, didn't want to do it. You know, don't drink, don't smoke, never did no drugs. I don't have time, because I ain't never want my Aunt Barbara to get me. And then and then my Aunt Mary Ann, which is my Aunt Barbara's younger sister, I spent a lot of time with her. Trying to learn business stuff, because she ran a very lucrative T-shirt silkscreen business in Chicago for years and years. Awesome. And so I was fortunate and unfortunate enough to work for her and not get paid for a lot of years and do a lot of stuff. But I learned a lot from her. Always inspired me to want to be a business person and run business. So I got little nuggets here and there from some, but grandparents. I don't have that story, and I hear a lot of people say about their grandparents. I don't have that. My family's kind of throwed off, like most people's family. Everybody view their family as a little throwed off, but I just don't have that story,
Right.
But but even with that, we're gonna let's go ahead and hit some of these subtopics so we can make sure now. Because I don't have a subtopic of the contribution of work from my grandmothers. I will say that I had an opportunity. Have y'all ever heard of this story here, The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks?
Yes.
Have y'all heard that? My baby.
Say it again.
Yes.
The Immortal Life of Henrietta Lacks.
Oh no.
Yes. Oh yeah.
Her story. Now, the only reason I know about it is because my wife told me about it. Then my daughter did a report on her. My little 6-year-old did a report on her in school. what happened with this? This woman is responsible for so many advances in medical science as it relates to cancer, leukemia, all these different areas, because she got sick with cancer back in, I think it was the 50s. And the doctor, she went to Johns Hopkins, and they took cells from her and discovered that her cells can reproduce on their own outside the body. So what they were able to do was do all kinds of tests and studies on her, and not only that, they made millions upon billions of dollars with her cells. And her family never got a dime.
Yeah.
Wow.
They had a lawsuit. They tried to go to court. They said no, as long as they remove the person's identity from, like if the subject, they take cells from a subject, as long as their identity is removed, they can't claim ownership.
Right.
So they took it with it. They basically stole it, you know. And something like that happened to one of my sisters. They took some bone marrow from one of my sisters. I have a sister. She's I guess on the mild retarded list, kind of, but she's like, they say she's like the highest level of MR, mild retarded, because she wasn't always that way. She was stricken with meningitis at 13, which landed her in that area, but she was normal all the way up until 13. And she was at Parkland, and they did that to her. You know, they took bone marrow from her because I guess she had some good bone marrow, and you know, I was trying to look into maybe trying to, you know, soon they did her as a Jane Doe kind of deal, because she, you know, when she got sick and stuff, she used to kind of run away and do stuff. So it was like they had hold of her, didn't know who she was, and that's why they was able to do that.
Wow.
Still, but you know, I think that this is the story. There was a movie about it. Oprah Winfrey played in this movie. The story of it's the immortal life of Henrietta Lacks. I think everyone should at least get a chance to check the story out, read the book.
It's pretty good.
It's awesome. So that's my contribution of work to a woman. We gonna Dr. Brown. What do you know?
But that's my contribution.
That's my contribution.
That's an awesome contribution.
Because I'm outnumbered in here. I'm trying to survive. You know,
that's an awesome contribution.
I'm in here bobbing and weaving in here. Because not only am I outnumbered, I am surrounded by gorgeous women, of course. So, Dr. Brown, what do you have for us on this topic of the contributions of a woman's work, whether it's your own or whether it's someone that inspired you? What do you have?
Well, you know what I was just thinking about? I finally had a chance to go see Black Panther.
Good.
And
that's an accomplishment.
That movie theme, that's an accomplishment. Listen. When I saw the movie, there's so many themes in this movie. It's just the empowerment of our people. Oh my gosh! And then I thought about the power of a woman. By seeing that movie, and the women warriors. Did you guys know those were real warriors?
The Dunga
those ones, yes, that they are real. They are a real Amazonian tribe of women in Africa that protected the palace. I did a little research after I saw the movie, and he's right. He nailed it. Costumes, you know, we talked about the Marvel comics and all that, but he nailed that thing. And I just thought about, we hear about the Amazon, and it was a place that they talked about these women, but this is a true thing. This is nothing fake. These women really existed, and the research that I saw, it talked about how they were dedicated to the cause of protecting the palace. And one of the things that they did when they signed up or joined into this army of warriors, they could not get married. They could not bear children. And what they did, they all had specific positions that they had to do, different jobs that they had to do. But they did protect the palaces. And I just thought about the strength of these women. You know, there are women out there who have a family. That's awesome. There are women out there who, you know, they have a husband, they have children. But I thought about women, you know, I've been married before and I have children, but I thought about women who've never been married, who've never had children, and how we have so many women who are single, but yet they're so powerful. Not that you can't be powerful without your husband. I mean, not that you have to have a husband to be powerful, and if you have a husband, you're not powerful. Does that make sense?
Right.
But how powerful these women were, that they were just the epitome of grace and style and class. You know, when you look at the movie Black Panther, and then when you see the pictures of the women in history, they mirrored each other, the costume, not costumes, but the traditional dress. And I just thought that was bad. You know, it's just like, man, it's just like, so Black Panther for me, I thought about the power of a woman. When I saw that movie, everybody had seen it. It took us forever, so we went down to the Alamo and checked it out. And I tell you talking about, I was beaming when I left out of there, because I said, those some bad sisters. Because if it was not for the women, that whole nation was saved because of the women. So everything from the men listening to the women, you know, and we know that we know in the biblical perspective, we know that men are the head of the household. But still, you know, like an old pastor used to say, yeah, men are the head of the household, but women are the neck. They turn the neck. You know, you guys have heard that. But I just thinking about how they were there and they protected the king. Oops, oh girl. But anyway, I want to talk about the whole movie. But even when it comes to even animals, animals listen to women. You know, it's like, wow. I don't want to give the whole movie away, but I saw that part. You are a whisperer. Women are whisperers. You know, so that's all I can talk about. I was like, talking about power of the woman in that movie. It was through the whole movie, the theme. You know, and it wasn't even, and then when you talk about women, some people look at women as, no, you said that women are beautiful, and that's a beautiful thing, that we have an outer beauty, okay? But then we are much more than the eye can behold, than eyes can behold. And I think about, there was a scene in there, and, you know, we're talking about beauty or whatever. It's not even about how you look. It's about what is within. So I said, go on then. You know, you're not afraid to be a sister. You're not afraid, you know, and I'm not putting any race of woman down, but proud to be a Black woman. That's all I can say. I'm through. I'm proud to be a Black woman. I'm not negating anybody else. I got plenty of friends in different places, but I'm proud to be a Black woman.
Well, you touched on one thing. You said it's not necessarily about the outer beauty or just being beautiful. You're right, because you know we're all beautiful. Especially some of y'all are beautiful in your own way. But even and like you say, even with that, because you can have all the beauty, but if your spirit, your attitude ain't right, you be as ugly as the bottom of my shoe. You know?
Let me see that shit.
And so, you know, it's got to be all encompassing. You gotta have more than just beauty. You gotta have, you gotta have a heart for others. You gotta care for people. You gotta, you don't want ugliness coming out of your mouth. You want to make sure that the beauty is more than just skin deep. So I agree with you there, Miss Lady G.
Yes, I'm just sitting here and I'm just thinking, like you're saying, it's not about our outer beauty. But have you ever been in a place where a beautiful Black woman walked in and just captivated the entire and it just leaves you with your mouth like, because it's just so, she just exudes confidence in herself, and it doesn't take anyone to say anything out the way. It's just the way she strolls, our walk, our talk.
Exactly.
And it does, and it just really, it just goes so far. You know, it just saying a gentle word, even just saying hello and just asking how you're doing. And you're just sitting there like, man. It's so beautiful. It's a beautiful thing, because we as women, we see each other. Instead of putting each other down, we always need to try to build each other up. And when we're putting each other down, it just makes us, you know, it diminishes ourselves. And so to be able to be there and, you know, and being there to encourage and inspire one another, that's a beautiful thing. But when you have somebody that you can also look up to, and, you know, and then I think about us as little girls and growing up and thinking and seeing someone. I remember my mom, she used to go out with these girlfriends of hers, and one of my, oh goodness, I can't think of what her name is. I want to say her last name, I know it's Darby, but I can't think of her first name. But when they would go out, you know, she would come through the house and I would just follow her. I would just thought she was just so beautiful.
That's where you got all that from, isn't it? That's where you got that from, isn't it?
And you know, I also have an aunt who did the same same thing growing
Yeah.
up. You know, that's Aunt Fan. But she carried herself in such a way that, you know, when, like I said, when I would go there every summer, I would see her. And when I would see her, and even now, I still am in awe of her at times, because it's just that way she carries herself. And, the, you know, and I see that the love of God is in her. And that is appealing to me. It's very, very appealing. And, you know, us as a women, we just, like I said, just us building each other up and not tearing each other down like we do so often.
Yeah.
And it's hard at this time in our lives, you know. And life is truly too short, you know, for all of that. But the sisterhood of us coming together, you know, and that was one of the when I made my vision board this year. I had said that I wanted to become a part of something even greater than myself.
Right.
You know, and becoming a part of a sisterhood, you know, and then working throughout our communities. So,
Can I say something, too, about you, Lady G? You know, I go back to when I had my book signing. One of the things that you did, you have such a spirit of humility and willing to work out and help and put your hands to the plow where your hands need to be. And I just remember when I asked you, you didn't ask questions, whatever we need to do, you said. But one of the things that was amazing to me is how you stood as a hostess at my book signing, and that's when OB walked through the door. And then after the book signing, he called me, he said, that lady, you know, when he talked about us doing the show together, he said, that lady that was at the door, he didn't even know your name. He said she was so welcoming. And how you responded with him, and you guys had a conversation, and he said, she is such a wonderful spirited woman. Why don't you ask her if she would be on the show with us?
Yeah.
So you just never know when someone is watching you, or when you are impacting someone, you don't even know. And so I just thought that was a beautiful thing for him to notice. I already knew. But for him to notice that in that moment. So I just want to thank you for that. You know, that's that sisterhood thing. But that was really spotted, and he was right on point about that. So, OB, you did it right. Wherever you are tonight, you did it right, OB.
Hey, and you know what? And I'll agree, because you know, in the short time that I've been around y'all, you know, you know, y'all have such a wonderful spirit. All of y'all do. Yeah. And Lady G, you do have a very, you know, it really comes across as so nurturing. Like if you had a rough day, it's like all you got to do is hug Lady G, and your day gonna feel better. You know, from that point of, you know, you do have that spirit about you. And I also like what you said about, you know, you ladies have to be able to learn to get along and build each other up more.
Yes.
You know, we all know that sometimes it's tough dealing with other ladies, but it is really tough dealing with other people, period. You know, because I don't know what it is, but you know, sometimes people think that it's all about them, you know, sometimes, and that ain't right. But you know, I do believe that the stronger and the better women can get along, you know, really it is going to make things in this world just so much better for everyone. You know, our little girls nowadays, I don't know what's going on with these girls now. It's like they don't get it, you know, because they fight each other. They think that physically fighting each other is going to really solve something. And that ain't going to work. You know, so, you know, I agree with you. I mean, and it goes for me and also, but we ain't talking about us. So basically, you know, but I really appreciate that. So you ladies out there, y'all listening, you know, if y'all want to tell us about, you know, some idols, or not necessarily idols, because I don't want to, you know, you shouldn't have no idol before God. But, you know, if you have something you want to say, you want to leave a comment, also call into the number 972-882-6146. The number is 972-882-6146. Call in and let us know. You know, you might have somebody in your life that might have made a difference in your life, made you all that in a bag of chips. We want to know about it. We want to hear your story. Call in and share it with us. Don't be stingy. I know I said that, you know.
That's okay.
Okay.
You know, but I also wanted to add to that. I had actually had watched Atlanta Housewives the other night, and I haven't watched it in so long.
Me too.
And now I see it's rough.
Yeah.
It's hard to watch that show.
Yeah.
You know, a lot of people they just think it is everything, but it is such a tearing down of women.
Trash.
And they're beautiful women.
Beautiful
women. But my goodness, it's horrific.
It's hard for me to watch ignorance.
But you know what? I don't believe, I may be wrong, I don't know, I think some of that is the show for the ratings.
It is.
But
Yeah,
the
I
sad
think so,
part
too.
about it is, you know, and I got tuned in. I've never really known the episode. I don't even know people's names. I've only seen like 3 episodes since it aired. But I saw it the other night too. And then the doctor, Married to Medicine. I've seen a couple of episodes of that. But what's so sad about it is people are really looking at this stuff, and whether or not they're doing it for the ratings or not, people are really mimicking these things. And maybe that's one of the things CH talked about is what's going on with our girls.
Yeah.
If they're seeing these women that have it all together, quote, with outer beauty, all together, quote, financially, all together, quote, you're a star, but then you just act crazy. That's what the girls are seeing. So they're beautifying themselves, but there's nothing good going inside.
Right.
So that's what's scary about what you said, CH. You know, and maybe it's some of the models that they're seeing on TV. Reality TV is something else, guys.
Oh, man.
You know, it's reality TV, something else. That's all I can say. It does a lot as far as women are concerned, and that's the opposite side of what we're talking about, the power of women. That's the power of women that can have a negative effect. I'm not saying that all of the show is negative,
Right.
but there's so many parts, and if you have the wrong young lady looking at that, she can internalize that and think that's okay when it's not.
Right.
When it's not.
And I had the pleasure last year, last April, of going on an all-girls trip with women that I didn't even know. It was just one girl had said, hey, on Facebook, you might want to go on an all-girls trip. So all of her friends chimed in. Me being one included, I invited a cousin, and I knew probably 1 or 2 other person that were friends with her also. And we all went to Dominican Republic together. Flew there not knowing each other, but you would have never known
Right.
you didn't know each other.
It was probably better that you didn't.
It was totally amazing, though.
That's good.
It was absolutely amazing. There was nothing crazy going on.
That's good.
Nothing.
That's
We
good.
just had a really good time coming together. And then there was one. We ended up taking pictures. All of us bought a white dress, and there was all different shades and cuts and styles. And then we took pictures on the beach.
Beautiful.
Wow.
It was magnificent.
Beautiful.
But I just think about that. You know, we said we was going to try to do it every 2 years or so, and come together like that again, and just have a good time. Just get together and just have a good time, and it was amazing. And so when I looked at that show, when I saw the show the other night, and I was like, oh my goodness, they can't even go on trips together. Getting into it.
Wow.
I mean, ooh, it's just raw. It's so raw.
I stopped
Yeah.
watching it years ago.
Yeah, it's hard. It's,
I think it's kind of a learned response. You know how they talk about conditioned responses in psychology. You know, Maze.
Yeah.
It's like a conditioned response. You know, I was looking at, you know, I do a lot of reading, but there was reading about, remember the Black Wall Street?
Yes.
Yes.
Outside of Tulsa?
Yeah.
Outside of Tulsa. Outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma, in Greenwood, Oklahoma. And they were talking about how 9,000 homes were destroyed. 9,000?
Yeah.
That's a lot of houses.
Really?
Yeah.
And how you had all these black millionaires and you had
Yeah.
all these women,
Yeah.
you know, but I read about that, and then this experiment came up that happened, I think, in the 1930s, 40s, 50s, I can't remember what year it was, about these chimpanzees. There were like 4 or 5 chimpanzees in a cage, and they had a ladder. And if you can pull it up on Google, they had a ladder. And they talk about it as an urban myth, but that was really based from a true scientific study.
Okay.
Well, they had a ladder, and at the top of the ladder they had bananas. And when the first chimpanzee went up to get the bananas, they would eject water and knock them down. Okay, and so they would eject water, and all the other chimpanzees would get wet. Okay, so it got to the point whenever one of the chimpanzees would try to go up, the other ones would pull them down and beat them up. Okay, and then they said with the experiment they took one out and replaced it with a new one that didn't know, and the new one would go up to the top and try to get the bananas. Got up there, before he could get up there, the other ones would pull him down, beat him up. And so they kept changing them in and out. By the time they changed them all out, they were all having the same behaviors, and no one knew why. So I wonder about, you know, we talked about the power of women, and we talked about the negative effects. Why do people do the things that they do? No one knows. So with this one, there was the fear of getting showered, I know, but the people, when the chimpanzee would go to the top and they would bring it back down out of fear. So why do women do some of the things they do in a negative effect and not elude the power? So it makes me question. You think about that experiment, because there's some women who tear other women down when they see sisters rising. Just like, I look at Amazing Maze and where she's going. That is a good thing. But if you can't embrace that for your sister, you need to check yourself. You need to check yourself. Right. And so it's almost like you're like the chimpanzee that's getting the chimpanzee off of the ladder and beating them down. Right. Because of fear. Yeah. Of, I don't know what it stemmed from. People can say all kinds of things, but I thought that was a pretty neat experiment. And they were talking about the Black Wall Street and how, although we don't have the Black Wall Street now, when we talk about people, some people do that, not just African American race, but we know that it's prevalent, and sometimes that happens with women. That's not a positive thing I'm talking about, but I think that we need to really think about, am I supporting my sister? Who is my sister? I am her. Yeah. And if you're not supporting your sister, you better take a check of yourself. Yeah. And so
that's a good point.
That's like the crabs in the barrel syndrome.
Like the crab in the barrel syndrome, yes. For sure. For sure. Yeah. And I wonder if it's the same thing, if that's something that's similar to the chimpanzee
that's what
thing.
It sound like.
We both have hard times talking today.
But that's what I was thinking when you said that. I was like, that's like a crab. I'm going to get it.
Tongue twisters today. I don't know what's wrong.
Okay. Right. But that's what I was thinking. And I'm like, it's still... every generation is different. Our seasoned generation, I can say for myself that the women and the men have taught me very well about a lot of things. Gave me knowledge, gave me wisdom, had that discernment about a lot of stuff. When I have children, I can pass that on. Some of the millenniums, Y and Z generation, I noticed dealing with the younger people, I still kind of see it a little bit. So it's still there. It's not as much of it like in my day than it is now. It's a little bit. You find they're very intelligent young men and women right now. But like you said, that mentality that some of them are having, especially with the young girls. And, you just never know what the situation may be at home if the mom is there. Because now I'm seeing a situation where the mother's not present and now the dads are taking over, mom and dad, bro. And so those are some things we're looking at, and it's still really good when you have the debutantes. I was actually in a debutante in high school, and getting those lessons that you need to learn about mannerism, about being a young lady, what that looks like. How to carry yourself, how to dress.
Makes a difference.
Attitude and everything. And those are still out there. I don't know of how much some people are actually putting their young ladies in. And I know we're not talking about the guys right now, but they have like the debonaires or the gentlemen's thing that you can put them in and get that grooming that they need for life, because that's really important. We dealing with a lot of stuff with this social media, and just not just only social media, but the media overall, the news, the statistics, and it's a lot of stuff out here. And when you talking about finding the right woman, and she can have all the accolades, degrees, the money, and all this, but like we talked about before, but your mental, psychological, spiritual, even physical is bankrupt. And that's something that, we still need to reach back and,
that's true.
Help, as women, because, we are also the foundation of the family. The husband too, but the foundation, because we do so much.
Exactly.
You know,
Exactly.
we do a lot.
Very good points. Very good points. And you
Talking
know
about
what?
baiting.
On this second half of this show, we're gonna pick up. We're gonna slide in some extra topics. I want to slide into you ladies.
Okay.
But right now, we're gonna take a little break. We'll be back with you shortly. Don't forget the number 972-882-6146. Call in, join in the conversation. We're talking about the power of women. We'll return shortly. We'll take a short break. Thank you.
All right.
I was gonna say, yeah, we're gonna let you slide something in, all three of us.
Yeah.
He said, "I'm gonna
All right, here we go. Once again, we are back with you with the conversation. And we are talking about the power of women. I hope I said that right. Anyway, call in to the number 972-882-6146. We are talking about the power of women. You know, we were just talking before we went to break about, making sure that we can build each other up and get along as women. I want to slide something out here on y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Let me ask y'all, what do you think can be done to kind of eliminate what's going on now? Because I think right now our young ladies, our young men have always been in trouble, so we ain't talking about them. But I'm seeing what's happening with the young ladies now is really frightening. And I don't know if it's because they just don't have no role models. I don't know if people are talking to them right or showing them. What do you think can be done to kind of reverse some of this stuff that's going on with our young ladies right now? We got so many young ladies that are not even want to embrace being women now at such young ages. Why? I don't get it. What do you ladies think? What can be done to try to help offset that? Or what do you even think is causing that? We know Satan's behind all that. We got that. But what do you think is adding to why a lot of our young ladies not even embracing being women? And I'm gonna start that with Dr. Brown, because I know she deal with the children every day, all day. You see it every day, all day.
Okay.
And so, from your vantage point, what do you think?
Okay, ask the question one more time.
What do you think can be done to kind of offset what is happening with our young ladies now?
Okay. Whether
it's from a standpoint of a lot of them don't want to embrace being women. A lot of them maybe not even knowing how to be ladylike. What do you think could be done to kind of help offset that?
I think a lot of it, when you think about the scope of things, first of all, everything starts at home. Now, Maze and I work in schools, and people want to blame the schools for everything that happens, but not everything that happens is the school's fault. Things start at home. Even though we are educators, we can't control what happens at home. We try to model in the schools, but I know that things start at home. So having a person who, first of all, we talked about those positive things about women we discussed in the beginning, being able to make sure that you show that for the young ladies in your household. Or if you don't have children, if you have nieces and nephews, to model that for them. Now, another thing, I think that there should be mentors. People talk about things, and people always talk about about kids being bad and kids doing things. But if we're not doing anything but just talking about it, shut up.
Yeah.
And I don't say shut up too often. Shut up. If you're not trying to support young ladies to do something, why are you talking? Because we can talk all day long, but it's not until we do something. That's what Lotus. I know your son is working with young men and students in the schools. Zion, I love Zion. He's working and he's making an impact. He's a young man working to make an impact in the schools. And so until we do those things, and people come up to, I know that sometimes they volunteer in the schools. They'll come for one day a year, and that's it. Or when we look at our churches and youth groups, how many people actually work with the youth? How many give money to support causes for young people? You might not give of your time, but give of your finances, give of something that you have. So I think that people need to do those types of things. And then I think that we need more counseling. We don't have the type of counseling that we should have for young people, in particular young ladies that we're talking about tonight. There's a lack of counseling. There's a lack of situations for mental health. Some some young women are in situations where there are mental health issues within their homes. And so that stuff, if you're around something, you just become that, and you cannot control what you become. So I think a lot of those things, and what do we value? What are the things that we really value here in the United States? What are the things that we value in our communities? And if we don't value that people have to have a balance of that social and emotional piece and the mental piece, that I don't think we get very far. So I think it comes to modeling the behavior. It comes to mentorship. It comes to backing with finances. I think it comes also with doing whatever you can do to support young ladies. And so those are just some things that come to my mind immediately.
Yeah, I really think that's good what you're saying, because being a father of two girls, And one thing I do recognize, my wife, she teaches my girls to be girls, to be young ladies. She teaches my girls to wear dresses. My little baby, she cares how she looks. You can't. She ain't going out the house if something ain't right. She said, "Daddy, no, I'm not leaving the house unless I'm beautiful." And so if she got messed up nail polish on one nail, Daddy, my nail polish, I need this fixed. I can't leave the house unless I'm beautiful. So I can see the difference that, the impact my wife has on my girls, even though, the age difference between my girls is about 9 years. But also, I have a teenager. Y'all pray for me. Because I'm telling you.
You have one of those, huh?
Oh man, I'm talking about I thank God that y'all pray for me. That's all I can say. But Lady G, I want to know. I know that me growing up, I remember when I was in like the 7th and 8th grade, I used to have self-esteem issues. And I think mine stemmed from, maybe growing up as a kid, I never really felt love, never really experienced love from my mom. So for my own self-esteem, it wasn't until I started playing football, lifting weights, feeling like I was really doing something. That's when my confidence really. I didn't care at that point, who loved me. I thought I had it going on at that point because I was an athlete and I was working out and my body was changing. And I was, that's when I began to really love who CH was. And so, what do you think can be done to help teach these ladies to value themselves better instead of giving their value away? Now, this is a tough question because I got a young lady. I'm trying to figure this thing out. I am lost. But this is what I'm seeing because I know my child struggles with self-worth. It doesn't matter, it doesn't matter what we do for her, what we buy her, what we tell her. It's like it goes in one ear, out the other. And I know at some point it's just got to click for them on their own. I mean, I know you can't really be, but I know that, it's not because she's not being shown how to care for herself and love herself. What?
I just think it is really being a teenager is tough.
Yes, very
because
tough.
it's it is I can remember myself as a teenager and the struggles that I went through, but it's intensified now because in school there's a lot of bullying now, and there's a lot of just hatred between the kids in school now. Whereas back in the day, I've always had friends in school. But growing up, I was the only girl out of 3 kids, and it was my mother. She was a single parent, so she was away from home a lot. So, growing up, we were at home by ourselves throughout the day while she was at work. Because at one time, I can remember my mother working 3 jobs, so that she could not, be there to rear us in the way that she maybe wanted to, because her thing was to keep a roof above our heads. So I've always looked at her as a strong woman because she did what she felt she needed to do. And I think for myself, I found that her being away so much, I didn't have that motherly care that I needed, and unfortunately, I found it in a young man. But that's my story. That's my truth. And what I learned at an early age was that in order to be loved, you have to give love. But in seeing, kids being brought up today, one thing that I do realize is that we do so much for our kids, and I don't see where it's appreciated. I can remember having very little, but all I ever wanted was for my mother, to be home more than what she was. But she felt she had to work. And it was a lot of work outside of home. So that's where I got into trouble. And it happens as kids. All of us, we sneak, we do stuff we shouldn't be doing. But the fear of I can remember being fearful of my mother, you know, because I didn't want to get in trouble. I didn't want to disappoint her.
Right.
So when I would try to talk to her about stuff, you know, like you said, your mother or didn't have time, didn't have time, and that was the thing is we have to make time.
Yeah,
we have to make time for our kids. So when I had my own child, that's what I did.
Right.
Is I made the time because I didn't want her to have to go the route that I went.
Yeah.
So in my own life, that was the difference. You know, I kind of reversed that thing, and I made sure, you know, I was there for her. You know, and that's what we need is we have to, you know, we got to do what we got to do, but we also have to connect with our kids. You know, how many times have you sat down to have dinner with your child?
Right.
You know, we used to back in the day all the time, but then now we don't do that. Everybody's so busy doing everything else. You know, but making that connection, you know, with our kids and being there, you know, for them. You know, because teenage years, woo, those are rough. Those are rough. And, you know, and I can remember, you know, I didn't know at one time my daughter was being bullied in school. You know, and I thought, well, she's a tough girl. She can handle herself. But I didn't realize that. She was really being bullied. And now that I think back and I'm looking at now what's happening, it's even worse. There are kids that are committing suicide because of peer pressure, you know, from their friends. You know, maybe the parents aren't as involved in their lives in the home now as they could be. And so and the kids are just feeling alone. And so we got to take time for our kids. We really, really do.
That's right.
You know, that is so true. You know, I know we have a lot of single moms out there, and you know, God bless you all. I know you have to do what you have to do. And you know, like I said, I know it's tough, but you know, I think, like you said, even as far as just being able to sit around at dinner and just ask them to tell them something about their day, you know, because I try to do that with my child. You know, not very effective, but I try to do it. You know, because they all say the same. Oh, it was all right. Oh, they try to short answer you, and you know, so I get that. So even with that, Miss Amazing LaShonda May,
she said the whole name.
Call me out. That ain't know me. That ain't know my whole name.
You need a government name.
You know, because we're not gonna bring the government in this.
Too late.
Tell us in your dealings with the young ladies, and I know, you know, I think we touched on a couple of our topics, but I think that our women now probably even need to be charged again to really go in and try to get these girls.
Man,
it is horrifying. I ran across a young lady today at the shoe store, and when I had to look at her more than once because I almost thought she was a dude, you know. And so, you know, in your dealings with our young girls these days, what is the biggest challenge you see in dealing with them? Because attitudes nowadays are really at an all-time high.
woo.
And it's not even, you know, you really don't have to do anything. It's like it's almost like it's almost like it seems like they're thinking that an attitude is the way to go. Like, I don't know if it's a defense mechanism or if that's how they think they have to be. It's like you can't even say, hey, your shoes dirty. Go clean your school shoes. These school shoes, they're supposed to be clean. You know, go clean your... Really? You know what I'm saying? You know. So, I mean, what are you seeing with you know, in your encounter with the young ladies these days?
And the attitude is definitely at an all-time high.
Mm-hmm.
And just, you know, dealing with the students, and every student is different. Or just come across young ladies and stuff. Oh, man. I'm going to tell you what okay. Over the weekend, I actually saw some cups. I know a young lady in her early 20s.
Mm-hmm.
And
You say some what? Some what?
cups. They're like the little, you know, those installated silver cups or the black cups that
Like
keep
the
your
Yeti cups?
you know, that double wall that
Like
keep your
Yeti-
water
Yeti?
cold for like 72 hours.
Right.
Right, like the Yeti
Good
cups.
stuff. Yeah. And I happened to be in Walmart, and I saw these cups. 40 ounce was $2.25. The other was a black cup that was 30 ounce, $3. So I know she does a lot of monogramming. She's doing cups. She's doing a whole bunch of stuff. So I'm the kind of person, I'll look out for you. If I know something you do, I'll connect you with that person, or I'll send you some information to better help you, because that's how I am. I want, if I'm a win, I want you to win too. Okay. I sent her a message. I text her the picture. I get a response back. What you send me this for? You know I got a shopping problem.
Okay.
Wow, really? I didn't get mad. I just ignored it. I was just like, okay, whatever. Not going to deal with this today. And I texted back. I said, I'm sorry. I said, I was looking out for you because I know you do monogramming. And I wanted to send you these cups because these are cheap cups. So she sent me a picture of the cups that were, I guess they came two in a pack for $5. And I'm thinking, and she said, well, if you see these, just buy them for me and I'll reimburse you. And I was like, okay, this, what you sent me was less ounces than this one. You would have got more ounces this if you bought 2 of these. I didn't worry about it. I didn't say anything else. And I said, okay, not that I was going to do it. And then finally she said, thank you for looking out for me.
All that.
Like, you did all of that?
Just to come
that
back here.
Was not even called for.
Is she watching tonight?
I don't know.
Hey, you know,
I doubt it, because the thing is, I'm a kind of person, when I invite you and, you know, you don't support, I just don't even really send it to you anymore. Nothing against anybody like that. But I was just like, wow, why you just gonna say, okay, thanks? What is all this extra? It's not even necessary, and I didn't even worry about it. I said, well, I won't send anything else to her. You respond to me like that. Because I'm the kind of person, I'm like, you already messed up. Send an attitude with me like that. I don't do it.
You know,
I don't do it.
I get it.
Normally, like if it's one of my students, normally I'll go ahead and let them know, whoa. And I let the girls know and the boys know in the classroom, not the attitude. You need to get rid of the attitude, and you need to talk to me better with respect. You know, even the lip smack and all that, I do address that in the classroom. I said, that's not how you talk to a teacher. That's not how you talk to an adult or treat anybody, or even your peers. You are a young lady, and you know, and I have to explain why. I explain why so they can understand and do it better. And I always get a better response back. And one thing about the kids that they like, that I engage with them, I talk with them. If there's a point where I have to, I ain't gonna say reprimand, discipline like that, but correct the behavior so they can understand this is how you should act. No, don't hit that girl, because you don't hit girls. You know, so I address those things. They come back to me with a better attitude. And if it's not, let's have a talk. If they're in a different, if they're acting different that day, I do talk to them. You know, did you get enough sleep? Are you okay? I'm always wondering what it is that's going on with the girls and the guys, and I kind of address those things, and they respond better to me than they would other people. I'm just saying, because I have a better relationship and I understand them.
We're going to let Dr. Simone touch on that for a minute. You know, due to the fact, ladies and gentlemen, our show is going till 7:30 tonight. We're not going to 8 o'clock tonight, so we have about 5 minutes left. But Dr. Simone, you said you wanted to touch on that for a second.
No, I was just thinking about Maze over there. The first half of what she said had me rolling over here, because she was just being real, and I was over here just really laughing. Trying not to, it's because CH gave your government name on the show. It wasn't the second thing you said. It was the first thing you said about the cups, you know. But I got to go back to CH, because you...
He didn't call my home, man.
Hey, and you're not in trouble either. You know what I'm saying?
I had to keep asking CH. I was so engrossed with I was so engrossed in Maze over here. So, okay, CH, one more time, ask me the question. I'm going to leave Amazing Maze alone tonight. You should have told her first name.
Well, actually, I want y'all to just give an ending. Say we got about 3 minutes before we have to shut this thing down, and I want us to go around and everybody give a statement about what do you think because we're talking about the power of women, and so what do you think could be done better to just overall bring our women together? Let's close it out with a statement about that.
Well, I just think that women, you have to be transparent and you have to support each other. The power of the woman, we're as powerful as our weakest link. You guys have heard that before. And as women, not to negate men because the show's about women tonight, if we don't collectively support each other, if we don't collectively build our sisters up, what happens is we all become less powerful. And when you talk about power, the definition of power can mean a lot of things to different people, but we're talking about power in building your sister up when you look at helping her to support her family, helping her to be a village when she's raising her children, helping her when you're talking about financial goals and gains, helping her when she is elevating her own business, but she needs the support of other sisters to do that, helping her when she needs someone to assist and just giving a helping hand, and last of all, I'm just going to say, helping to lift your sister up in prayer. Those would be the things that I would say. That's woman to woman, sister to sister.
Lady G, what you got for us?
My goodness. I love what you had said about being a village, helping each other raise each other's kids, being there, being that support that we need for one another. Because it's hard. It's hard doing it on your own. If you don't have your husband there or someone there to help you, if you can't call up on a friend, another family member, it's tough trying to do it on your own.
Yeah.
But I think the biggest thing is being there and being supportive of one another.
Yeah.
And just being there for one another. Even sometimes, sometimes when you're going through something, you just need somebody, you just need an ear to hear. If you can just call up that friend and say, hey, just let a person vent, just to get it off their chest, and I know that's me, when someone calls and they have something going on, I'm always available to listen. I don't want to be offering up a whole lot of advice because, 1 out of 10 times they're probably not going to use it anyway. But just being there and just being available. And making yourself available for your friends and families. I think that's important.
Exactly.
Right. Amazing Maze, go ahead and round this thing out for us. Give us your amazing opinion on what you think.
I would definitely say meet that person where she is at that time in her life, because you may have a wealth of knowledge, wealth of wisdom to give her, but she may not need it right then and there, maybe later, but you meet her where she is and start from there. And again, being a listening ear or active listening, I'll say that, active listening. Try to understand, and sometimes we can't always fit people's shoes, and that is okay. But try to understand where that person is coming from. Consider their situations. Just trying to learn who she is. And when you learn who that person is and where they come from, then you can better understand the person overall and kind of deal with them a little bit better. Okay. So I'm going to just leave it as that.
All right. I'm not a woman, but I'm just going to say, I just think that Lady G really made a very good point, and you did too, Amazing Maze, about listening,
Active
not fixing, listening, because sometimes just being able to get it off their chest can make people feel better, and then sometimes they can think clearly after that. So don't try to fix. You know how sometimes y'all ladies can be. Y'all notice I waited till we can get up there before I throw one of those out. Try to fix it. Just listen, and then, collectively, maybe y'all can come up with some solutions. This has been a good, Okay, so go ahead, Miss Lady. We got some announcements before we get off this air, because I closed my eyes and I was in my zone. So go ahead, Miss Lady.
Well, we just have a couple of announcements here from the HighVibe. We have on March 10th, the time is going to be 8 a.m. until 8 p.m. We have the Jet Relays Festival, and that's going to be at the Clark Stadium in Fort Worth, Texas. And we also are going to have on Saturday, April 7th at 11 a.m., the luncheon. It's called It's Our Turn, Heal the Woman, Heal the World.
What?
And we're going to have some speakers there. And if you'd like to be a part of it, you can come out and network. We have vendors, and there's going to be some giveaways and a panel, and you can meet us there. Like I said, that's going to be Saturday, April 7th at 11 a.m.
All right.
At the Brick House.
Brick House.
Thank you.
Brick House in Arlington.
HighVibe.
And it's
HighVibe.
a HighVibe Media production. And we thank you guys.
All right. Well, I just want to say this has been, once again, I believe, to be a good conversation. And we're going to go ahead and get this thing out. This has been The Conversation. What has this been for you?
The Conversation.
The conversation.
The conversation.
Until next we meet. Good night, everybody.
All right.